turning to one of the OG YouTubers, in my opinion. We're looking at none other than Philip DeFranco.
What are we doing?
And it saddens me, dude. It saddens me. I love Phil. I was just watching one of his shows the other day, and Megs turns to me and she says, You still watch Philip DeFranco? And yeah, man, up until about 72 hours ago, after I did some deep digging, because I thought, what's Phil been up to, and what's with the set? What's he doing? And I found some very interesting, disturbing things. And for me, it's 3 strikes, you're out.
What are we doing?
And it's honestly the tell-old tale of hero turned your average influencer, okay? It's happened to Dobrik. It's happened to the generations before and after him to come. These YouTubers are coming out. The Mr. Beast is now falling. Like every single time you think you're at the top, they bring you back down humbly. And so, listen, man, I was a fan of Phil, okay? I was a Phil fan. My sister and I would watch him during the summer of 2008, 2009, 2010, way back in the day, before he even had SourceFed. Once he got SourceFed Nerd, the Discovery buyout, life after Discovery, I have been through every iteration of Philip DeFranco. I've bought the merch. I've been on the Patreon for a while. Like, I've been through every iteration, every season of Philip DeFranco.
What are we doing?
For at least, it's been since 2010. So what are we, 10, 12, 15 plus years? I have been subscribed to Philip DeFranco for 15 plus years. So you can understand why everything that I say from here on out comes with a heavy heart, because it's unfortunate where he's ended up. And it's a sad tale. I mean, just thinking back to the SourceFed days and like supporting him with the funds, like to get his own space, even though he didn't have the backing of Discovery, and like Amanda and the behind the scenes, and they would ship out the posters and the shirts and the perks.
What are we doing?
And it was this triumphant like thing for Phil, and the supporters supported him, and the behind the scenes and the videos, and just his journey has been this insane thing, okay? And so this was just kind of something hard to see. So now, like, even a year ago, we were seeing the set and everything he was doing, and it was looking fine, okay? We got the streamies on the wall. We'll see the set in a second. We've got some video, some footage, and some evidence here that we're going to bring up in a minute. But, you know, like everything as of almost a year ago, we assumed was fine until now.
What are we doing?
And so it was, you know, it was one of those things where, you know, I guess the pandemic happened. Maybe that's what we're blaming this new era of DeFranco Incorporated on. But, you know, it just seems like, due to the nature of his current daily setup, we've disbanded the team, maybe. So it almost looks like, you know, this is like a Philip DeFranco does it kind of from his house now situation. So
what are we doing?
Let's check in on Phil. This was Phil, like I said.
Today we're talking about the...
Whoa, dude. This is Phil, like I said, a year ago. Okay, when was this posted? This was posted, a year ago, okay? This is the Philip DeFranco show just a year ago. You can see the set. It's nice. It looks decent. It might be virtual. Who knows?
What are we doing?
It's not as good as my Skyrise, you know what I mean? But it's fine. And so we found this clip. He's talking about tip culture, okay? And he's got some points here that we'll kind of sort of agree on. But just here, let's listen to the quality, the status our beliefs here. For Philip DeFranco a year ago, this is tip culture gone too far.
Someone fucked up a sure thing. And then, y'all, I hope you're enjoying this video, but before we continue, I just, the iPhone's gonna ask you a question really quick. That little interaction, at least in America, has become all too common. You're buying yourself a little juicy juice or whatever, and you get hit up for a tip. So much so, there have been more than a few videos, memes, and overall internet commentary regarding tip culture lately. And if you happen to hate it, know that you are not alone. With a recent Bankrate survey finding that 66% of Americans actually have a negative view of tipping, and 30% say that tipping has gotten out of control. And instead of tipping, 41% of respondents in the survey say that companies should just pay their employees more, which of course is not a new argument. That is an argument as old as tipping itself, right? It's the idea of, as a consumer, if tipping is part of the expected experience, just put what that money would be into the price of the thing they're buying.
And so let me just pause. Just listening to this man, he talks so fast. I know I'm a fast talker, but I mean, Jesus. So, and he cuts out all of his breaths. Like, it's insanity. It's ADHD to the max. But so, okay, so and this is just him. This is Phil. He's explaining tip culture, what everyone is experiencing in 2024.
What are we doing?
And so he'll go on to say, like, this comes from COVID, right? Like, during COVID, during the lockdown, if someone was out, like, say at Cinnabon, they're big culprits of this. I go to Cinnabon at least once a week, if not 3 to 4 times a week.
What are we doing?
For my autistic son. It's one of the many 3 things that he actually eats on this planet. So if we actually want to get him some carbs or something in his stomach, we have to go to Cinnabon. And every time we order, they ask me for, do you want to give a tip? Sometimes I do, because my girls always got me. They know me now because I'm in there a lot. But like, hey, tip culture, every 9 minutes, the iPad's turning around, right, Phil?
And pay your employee an actual livable wage. But a lot of what we're looking at now, it came from the pandemic, right? Many customers began tipping in non-traditional spaces to show appreciation to the employees who were putting themselves at risk. Something that has been argued has made those businesses reliant on that generosity. Jonathan Murdoch, a professor of public policy and economics at NYU, saying, with businesses still preparing for the possibility of a recession, they don't want to lock into higher wages. Tipping gives them more flexibility. But some argue that this reliance on tips is having a negative effect for employees, with the director of the Food Labor Research Center at UC Berkeley saying, employers think they're being smart by using tipping instead of raising wages. But really, they're risking losing staff because it's pissing consumers off, and the employees are the ones who have to deal with it. And so with this story, I find myself just having a lot of questions, and I'm hoping like you guys can fill in some blanks.
Okay, so now here he's going to give his opinion. Let's hear Phil's closing thoughts. And this was a year ago, okay? And we've got his opinion over the next year. We have some of it. It hasn't changed, but here was his opinion a year ago on the tipping. He wants us, of course, he's trying to engage us in the comments. Here we go. Let's hear what he has to say.
Blanks. Right, in general, how do you feel about tipping these days? What's your reaction to kind of the iPad being flipped around in your direction? What jobs do you think it does and does not make sense to have tipping culture? And then,
okay, no, he doesn't, but that's fine because we get his opinion. I'm sorry, I thought this video would have given it to us, but we know now, fast forward, that was last year, 2023, we know now he gives us the answer to that question. He gives it. I just wish YouTube wouldn't start auto playing. Is there a plugin for that? Let's find it.
What are we doing?
So fast forward. This is what is this? This is okay. This is here we go. Here's another clip from Phil. Same set. Okay. And let's just see what he says here. Let's go to 4 minutes. He brings up, he's talking about Jesse Walters and his reaction to fast food workers needing to make 6-figure salaries.
What are we doing?
Which is obviously hilarious. So he's gonna give his opinions now on what he thinks tipping culture is. This is a few months after he did the bit on tipping culture in America. Ready?
Of himself trying to do math, but also, 2, what are your thoughts when it comes to the minimum wage? Someone that's lived in California for a while, I'm more familiar with the costs here. So that's going to affect my thoughts on what the minimum wage should be. And so if you're in another state where the cost of living is lower, you might have a different take. But also, if I can add one thing, and it is something that I have a gripe with. The argument, and this is kind of very more focused on like the food services industry or coffee shops or,
listen to this.
Or just things that aren't traditional restaurants. I think a lot of employers have the knowledge that they are not paying their employees enough. And I think part of that is showcased with the fact that how has everything in the last 5 years become a tippable transaction? And I say this as someone that tips every time. But for things as small as like I'm buying a coffee at a coffee shop, there's a turn of the screen at that transaction now. Either reading 15, 20, 25%, or some places 20, 25, 30%. And understand that's been embraced because employers do not want to raise the price of their products and they don't want to pay their people better. But they're still passing off an extra cost to the consumer. It's just that they're doing it in a way that's not technically that, and it's an awkward interaction for a lot of people. It just becomes about optics.
So Phil is 100% against tipping culture.
What are we doing?
He claims that he tips every time, which I'm sure he does. But the fact that you go now to these places in the mall where you used to didn't have to tip, it wasn't really like you never, even though I'm pretty sure they always had it on the screen, it's probably pushed now twice as much, like at Subway, Dunkin' Donuts. Like you're supposed to tip the person making your Subway sandwich.
What are we doing?
Hey, hot take here. 1, don't tip the person at Subway. And 2, in our lifetime, I'm projecting in the next 5 to 10 years, we will see the downfall of Subway. This is the worst year for them yet. They are struggling to make money. Franchise owners were called to emergency meetings. Like, what do we got to do to get this $12 footlong? Like, it is $15 for a footlong now.
What are we doing?
And it's kind of hard for these Subway owners to make ends meet when there's one on every block and only 12 people get a Subway sub per week in America.
What are we doing?
And like, we need to figure out a solution, Subway, because it's not working with the $15 foot long. Like even the coupons, half of the people won't take because the way the franchise models work, that money comes out of the owner's pocket. The franchise does not reimburse them for that $5 off coupon. The franchisee does not send them in the mail. Corporate does. Corporate sends out coupons for Subway that franchisees have to theoretically legally take, but then Subway doesn't reimburse them for that money. They have to take it out of their own earnings every single time. So Subway's one of those business models that is quickly spiraling down the drain. If you have a favorite Subway, I suggest you go there now before they are ever closed and you never see them again. If you know somebody per se in the central PA area who owns a Subway,
what are we doing?
I would strongly suggest you tell that person to quickly try to find a buyer for said franchise and get as much money out of it as you possibly can. I don't care how long it's been in your small town. It's a situation where like, it's Subway. It's not real bread. There's sugar all in it. The tuna's not real, dude.
What are we doing?
So it's a situation where, tip culture has gotten out of control. So Philip DeFranco, okay, is not about the tips, okay? And so when we were doing our research, coming up with just trying to find what Phil was doing like today, we stumbled upon his new Beautiful Bastards merch drop, okay? And this merch drop is honestly one of probably his best pieces of work. Okay.
What are we doing?
It's so serious. Let's try to find, where are we getting the merch? Was it this one? Show me the merch, Phil. Show me the merch. Show me the merch. No. There's always a Beautiful Bastards drop. Where was it? Okay, let's find. We don't need to show him announcing it. All we need to really do is take notice to his entirely new set. Now that he has disbanded the team, we're not even getting a 2K output from Philip DeFranco these days.
What are we doing?
We're getting a 1080 enhanced at the best. And it is just still the same Philip DeFranco show. Ready, watch. It's been the same for years. No, what do we got? We don't even have any volume. I muted the site because I didn't want to hear his voice because it's the same intro for years.
Sup, you beautiful bastards. Welcome back to the Philip DeFranco Show. You daily dive into the news, and we have a lot to talk about.
The zoom-ins, the everything. It's like,
I'm so greasy and disheveled.
it's just, we've got a Philip DeFranco button.
What are we doing?
I found this. Shout out to the person who found it and made it, and I stole it from, but I stole it from you, and I love it.
I'm so greasy and disheveled.
And so this is Philip now. Let's get back to a wide shot. Here we go. As you can see from the wide shot, we are sitting in front of the bedroom closet with maybe a new iMac, one of the M1s at least.
What are we doing?
But it's still just the Philip DeFranco show. And I mean, he's looking skinny. Okay, we know he's probably on the Ozempic, maybe, but like, here he is now. And so, you know, with the disbanding, obviously, of the team, obviously, there's no way he still has the team he had in the office pre-COVID, during COVID. There's no way he's sitting in front of a closet with Amanda running around fulfilling Patreon orders.
What are we doing?
And so why don't we check in the latest drop? Let's go to beautifulbastard.com. And where are we at here? Beautifulbastard.com. Let's just, Beautiful Bastard, Philip DeFranco. And let's check the latest drop. It is these quality 3-pack of t-shirts and 3-pack of tank tops.
What are we doing?
If you're looking closely, let me see what happens if I zoom in here. If you're looking closely, nothing because the site is responsive. Okay, you can see, let me click on one, we'll zoom in. You can see that the t-shirts he's selling are blank.
What are we doing?
Philip DeFranco has 3 different color packs. We've got a blue, red, and green, a white, pink, and maroon color, and this kind of puke, vomit, dark blue, yellow color.
What are we doing?
And for 3 t-shirts, how much are they, dude? For 3 t-shirts, you're paying $75 to $25 a piece. So Philip DeFranco now is buying blank t-shirts, okay? And presumably with what we found, you can get a print press, you can get a t-shirt press, t-shirt shop quality print t-shirt maker at home for anywhere from $25 to upwards, of course, of thousands of dollars, but starting at $25 to $100, you can print this little Beautiful Bastards logo on blank t-shirts all day long.
What are we doing?
So while Philip DeFranco is upstairs in the spare bedroom of their LA mansion filming his show every morning, Lindsay's at a goat yoga exercise, the boys are off at their private school, daycare, private nanny, I'm sure, and he's filming his podcasts and his shows or whatever he's doing now from his closet, and he's selling us this latest merch drop of blank tees and blank t-shirts, okay? Oh, and of course we're calling them, look, it's not dark blue, tan, and black, folks.
What are we doing?
It's midnight, blueberry, and cloud. He is purchasing the shirts from the dropshipper, getting them in the house, printing his logo on the tag that I'm sure will wash off in a few months. We have yet to find out because, listen to this, I'm wearing one because he also has, I couldn't do the colors. It's not my style.
What are we doing?
You know I don't do colors. We found an everyday black tee 3-pack, all blank, from Philip DeFranco. And if you thought I wasn't paying $150, I waited for the half off $75 sale, baby. I've got it on me now. Look at this. The merch from Philip DeFranco. Okay? You know what it feels like? It feels like a $10 t-shirt from Kohl's.
What are we doing?
It feels like Philip DeFranco is now selling blank merch. I mean, I thought I was going to change the game when I wasn't putting like design thumbnails and just putting blank thumbnails on my YouTube videos. But this is next level OG YouTube. You thought Logan Paul was scamming his audience?
What are we doing?
Philip DeFranco is on the next wave, dude.
I'm so greasy and disheveled.
It's the next level. Blank t-shirts. I've got it on me. It feels itchy on my skin. Like I feel a rash forming, okay? And that's just in my opinion, Phil.
What are we doing?
But what we found even more offensive is when we purchased or attempted to purchase the t-shirts, we added them to the cart, okay, normal, right? Shopify, it pops out, you can see, you hit checkout, and what do we find but the average information where before we even get to my information, before he wants to know my name, before he wants to know my address, anything related to the purchase.
What are we doing?
Philip DeFranco is asking me to leave a message for him, and for him to even maybe see a reply to that message, he wants me to leave an optional tip.
What are we doing?
The man, for the last year and a half, has been complaining about tip culture and the iPads at the mall and people in the industry who shouldn't be getting tips.
What are we doing?
And we now have Philip DeFranco asking for support via a tip for him and the beautiful bastard team. Shout out to Lindsay. They're probably putting Trey to work as well. But we are to support him with not a percentage either, you dirty bastard.
What are we doing?
You beautiful bastard. $3, $10, $20.
I'm so greasy and disheveled.
Or a custom. Let's see if we can do 50,000. Let's see if we can send Phil 500,000. Let's pay off Phil's mortgage and see. There it is. He's going to take 500,000 of my dollars as a tip and donation, and I'm sure he won't be taxed on it.
What are we doing?
So, wow, dude. We're selling blank merch, broadcasting from the closet. Phil, if you need a helicopter ride, come to the East Coast. I'll pick you up on my way to New York every week. We can get some logos printed on the shirt. Megs has a cricket.
What are we doing?
Megs has a cricket she hasn't used in months. She's printed a few shirts here and there for me, but she doesn't really use it. So if you need someone to put designs, I'll come up with a little swirly curly Q, like a big BB. Let's just put a big BB on the t-shirts. Hey, what are we doing? Philip DeFranco, beautiful bastard collab coming soon.
What are we doing?
As long as Philip DeFranco doesn't take anything I said to heart with trying to cancel him here, listen, you can't lie to the internet. We're on to you, Phil. You know what I mean? The spiky hair, the fresh cut. I wanted to talk. I got to go see my stylist. I got to get the fuck out of here.